We're really glad to have MarketScan Information Systems in this year's AWA category on digital retailing with their mDrive 2.0 application. Some of you may know that MarketScan powers many of the digital retailing solutions in the automotive industry in the US because of their robust data set. No one has all the data that MarketScan has. And for dealers who are looking to empower their sales associates with a mobile app that answers the two primary questions that consumers have, what can I drive and what is my payment? Well, mScan 2.0 mobile app is the perfect solution without getting overly complicated. With correct data, knowing every rebate, incentive, best financing offers for vehicles down to the trim level, well, your sales associates have a powerful tool right in their hand to have a more engaged conversation with consumers. In fact, what I've really appreciated over the years is Rusty West and the team at MarketScan showing me just how different payments can be based on banks and models. One day we were looking at the affordability of a Toyota Tacoma truck, and based on whether they went with a captive lender or another bank, whether they went with a credit union or another local lender, the payments were, well, amazingly wide. And I was like, wow, who knows how to crunch all these numbers? Well, a good F&I manager knows how to do that, but imagine empowering a remote sales force or an online sales force to give consumers the best deal, to educate them in a split second. And that's what the mScan 2.0 app does. It gives your dealership the ability to have accurate payments that align with the banks that you're supporting in your local market and to create the highest likelihood that a consumer will do business with you. So let's take a few moments to look at the MarketScan mDrive 2.0 app, and then I'll come back with some closing comments.
Our company basically is a calculation engine. We tell everybody we provide scientifically perfect solutions to any automotive transaction. We calculate a lot of payments. We've calculated a little over 272 million payments so far today, and those payments are consumer-facing, lender-facing, dealer-facing, and manufacturer-facing. The goal is to make sure whatever is quoted to a consumer, regardless whether it's way upstream online or if it's on the showroom floor, that the payments are exactly accurate, can be replicated in the finance office when the consumer goes to take delivery of their vehicle. So in order for all of this stuff to work, there's a lot of pieces of information that we have to take into consideration, and we boil it down to 5 different classes of data, and that's the consumer, the manufacturer, the lender, the municipality, and the dealership. And the consumer is the wild card, as every dealer knows. Everybody has their own appetite for a particular vehicle, credit profile, budget, driving habits, whatnot. So we take those on the fly. But the other 4 classes of data, we track all the information associated with it. So we track all the, all the rebates and incentives and, year, make, model, trim, description, cost, MSRP, shipping, gas guzzler, all that kind of stuff from the manufacturer class. From the lender class, we track every parameter, policy, and factor that can influence a lease, finance, or balloon note program for a new or used car from every lending institution in the country that has a published program. From the municipality class, we track all the laws, rules, regulations, calculation methodologies, tax percentage rates, and registration fee calculations for every inch of the country. And then from the dealer class, we'll track all the terms and conditions under which each participating dealership is willing to transact. So it's what lending institutions they have available in their portfolio for their consumers, what fees they charge, how they want to quote prices on their inventory based at any level of granularity, down to year, make, model, trim, lot age, whatever they want to do. Also, how they interpret the tax laws, that kind of stuff. So we take all of that, and what it does, it puts us in a position where we can take a very small amount of information and we can provide an exact monthly payment to a consumer based on the consumer's criteria and other elements that can influence the transaction. We have a free product we call mPortal, which is a place where a dealership can go in and they can set all of those terms and conditions, basically set the switches and levers that parallel the calculation engine of their DMS. Would be their CDK, their rentals, dealer tracker, Kona, it doesn't matter. We can calculate payments in the exact same fashion that they calculate in their store. Imagine the scenario where we've got a salesperson has a mobile app that gives them all the information they need in order to engage with the consumer. And there's a few different types of consumers that we see at the dealership. We've got the guy who knows what he wants or is pretty sure he knows what he wants. We've got the guy who's got a budget. You know, I've got $1,500 up front. I want to pay between $375 and $400 a month. Here's my needs boxes. I need a sport utility vehicle or a minivan or something. I've got a growing family. What do you have in your inventory that I can drive? What can I get? And then we also have the customers in the service drive, and we call those opportunity mining. Maybe I got a guy who's 3.5 years into a 4-year lease on a truck. His truck's just out of warranty. He's getting ready to write a check for $900. And I want to see if I can get him out of the vehicle he's driving and get him in a brand new one with nothing out of pocket. The two different paths for the consumer are, I know what I'm looking at, or I want to see what's available for me. So if at first I want to say, okay, what can I drive? I can give, now the salesperson has this on their phone, they can engage with a customer. And if the customer says, look, you know, I'm looking for this scenario. I've got $1,500 up front. I want to pay between, say, $375 and $400 a month. I don't want to go less than 24 months. I don't want to go more than 60 months. I'm interested in lease and finance. I got a 720 credit score, and I drive 12,000 miles a year. So pretty basic deal. When I ask it, what can I drive? The system's going to look at those 1,916 vehicles that I have in inventory, and it's going to come back and tell me that there, and you can see right here, there's 275 vehicles that I have on the ground right now that my customer can drive for that payment between $375 and $400 a month. And we sort them automatically by what we call payment value index, which is basically the best bang for the buck. So this customer with what we have, $1,500 up front, he can drive a $43,000 Honda Ridgeline for 36 months for a payment of $385 a month. He can drive a Kia Niro, he can drive a Nissan Leaf, a Honda Civic Type R. Now we can filter these on any way we want. You know, if I'm only interested in a certain color vehicle, you know, I'm only interested in maybe a beige and a brown. I like earth tones, right? Then we can do that. And then the vehicles, we've got 7 vehicles in stock that are that type of color, right? There's some lease options, finance options. This particular one, I've got lease and finance options. I can lease it for 24 and 25 months, or I can finance it for 60 months, and that still fits my budget. So that gives us the ability to figure out what this customer can drive based on his budget. We also have the ability to where a salesperson can be talking with a customer who knows what he wants. He sees a vehicle on the lot that he likes. He wants to test drive it, and he wants to know what his payment options are on that particular vehicle. So I can ask, what are my payments? So there are a few things that we can do. One of them, and I'm not in front of a vehicle with a barcode, but I could touch the barcode and I could take a picture of the barcode of the VIN of the vehicle, or if I have stock number barcodes on my car, I can take a picture of that and it would look it up. I can also do a smart search, and I'll look for that same Honda Ridgeline. Honda Ridge, R-I-D-G. That should give me enough. And I've got some Honda Ridgelines in stock. It looks like that tan one we were looking at is right here. I can select it. And then I can give it my scenario. 12,000 miles a year. I want $2,000 cash. And this will tell me exactly what the payments are for all the different terms. Now, what's interesting to note is that the very best deal for this customer is the 36-month deal. It's got the highest PVI. Actually generates a cheaper monthly payment at that term than any of the other terms. And I can play around with it. If my customer says, look, I want a higher or lower payment, I've got sliders. If I want a $412 a month payment, then you know, I need a certain amount of cash. If I come up with more cash, my monthly payment will go down to $403 a month. I can play around with that. It doesn't matter whether we approach the customer's needs from a what vehicle can he drive standpoint or what are my payments standpoint. we still are always in a position where we never leave the consumer unattended, right? So instead of having to tell the customer, look, let me go to my sales manager, find out what the payments are on this deal, I'll get back to you, I have everything here ready to go. Now, when the customer gets to the point to where they want to continue the process, if they engage and they say, yes, I like this deal, this looks like it works for me, I need to get this down the funnel. I have to get it in front of my sales manager so he can check and make sure everything's good. And then I need to get it into my, maybe my DMS or my finance office or whatever. So the next step for us at this point is let's push this to the sales manager and maybe we take our customer for a test drive. So we have the ability from right here to push this. Let me give this customer, I'm just going to call this guy Bobby Consumer. So Bobby Consumer, I want to push this into my sales manager, into his desking tool. Now, this is also a web-based application for the consumer, and you can hear I just had that ding, right? So Bobby Consumer, let me slide this out of the way, sorry. So Bobby Consumer's deal shows up in front of the designee at the dealership. And the whole transaction that came across included everything. So this $400, this $403 a month payment includes all the fees the dealership charges. It includes the proper tax rate for where the consumer is going to garage the vehicle based on the zip code that he gave us. It has all the registration fees. It has all of the terms and conditions under which the dealership is willing to transact for that particular inventory item in that particular area, and everything. Everything's baked in. So the entire transaction, knowing it was a 65% residual value, customer drives 12,000 miles a year. So the residual value got enhanced 2 points because that's what the lending institution allows, which adds $862 to the residual value. This particular vehicle was a demo, right? It had 508 demo miles. This is actually a pretty cool example. I didn't run this one before, but so my residual value actually had to be adjusted $50.80 because Honda says if it's a demo and it's got more than 500 miles, we have to adjust the residual value down 10 cents for each mile over. It doesn't matter whether I do it from my service drive, whether I do it from the lot, whether I do it right before I go on a demo. Any of these transactions we can touch, hit a button, and our designated manager in our dealership will get a pop-up with the entire transaction in front of them in a half a second. Through the mobile device now, we have the ability to kind of desk our deal, right, or have the sales manager desk the deal, but it's electronic. It happens automatically while we're engaged with the consumer, and we don't have to go wait in line. So I don't have to go to a PC, log in to see what can I drive. I don't have to do anything. I can do all of it just straight from my phone or my iPad or whatever I've got on the lot. I can just sit there and engage with the consumer and answer all of his financial questions. The mDrive product is the only product that takes all of the elements into consideration and quotes a scientifically perfect solution for any automotive transaction. These aren't estimated payments. They're not guesses. They don't change when the consumer gets to the finance office or whatever. And these payments can be quoted through widgets online, through digital retailing partners, and obviously through our application. But it's the only one in the industry right now where a consumer can go and say, okay, what are my payments, or what can I drive, or can you get me out of my car and get me in something new with nothing out of pocket, and have it be an exact transaction in a second, and be able to push that directly into the management team at the dealership when the consumer is ready to take the next step.
Hope you enjoyed the highlights from the mDrive 2.0 mobile app. As you can see, it's powerful technology, accurate numbers in the palm of a sales associate. And best of all, that data can be pushed into any desking solution. That means dealer margins and grosses can be maintained. And what you should know is MarketScan is probably one of the most under-recognized companies in all of automotive retail because of their excellent quality of data that's powering transactions every day behind the scenes. So take a moment to read the dealer reviews, Click on the links and visit the MarketScan website. Schedule a demo of mDrive 2.0. And don't forget to visit one more website. That is awa.autos to see a list of this year's winners of the prestigious AWA Award.